Oh shit, this is gonna be good, dude. You're already looking handsome on this thing. My yard's looking pretty epic too.
For real.
Nice, we're out here. Let me get a little closer. Hell yeah, Dickey. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Oh, where are you from?
From Lakeville, Massachusetts.
That's right, dude. That's so strange to me. I love that people come out of Lakeville, though.
Alright?
Yeah.
Sammy?
Yeah, my brother.
Oh yeah, your brother too.
Hell yeah. Bring that bottle in. Let's see what we're working with here.
Working with some 7 moons.
Oh, a little 7 moons for the boys.
Red line.
This is gonna be the Anthony and Dickey mandate for you guys today. We're live on YouTube as well. I think we are. Let me see. Assuming everything's working.
They do that now on YouTube?
Yeah. Let me see. Let me refresh to see if we're on there. So if you're on YouTube and you want to engage with us and leave a comment, we'll check it periodically and see what's up. If I got it going. Which is strange because I don't see it pulling up, so it might take a minute. Alright. 1 sec. Oh. Still working? No, we're on for sure. That's weird. Just not pulling it up on my computer. Oh, there we go. Nice. All right, so we're live on YouTube. So turn the audio down. So if you're on YouTube, we'll see you. We already got some homies saying what up. T-Plug in the building, saying what's up. Rough Song Skateboard mandate. Nice. Haha. What are you guys up to? That's a good place to start. Let's actually make sure you keep the mic close too. Let's start with what you've been up to. Like, what have you been up to?
Oh, skating.
That's a good thing.
Living at Bam's Castle, helping build the bowl, skating the bowl a lot.
Yeah. How did you end up out that way?
Well, I've been homies with Bam for like the past couple of years, probably like 3 years now, and you know, like he built like a couple skate parks in the past, and he like
at his house, correct?
At his house,
yeah.
Amish built him like a nice like fucking barn or whatever, and like, you know,
who did?
The Amish.
Like the Amish people?
The Amish people. Like, horse and buggies, no lights, like anything. For some reason they can use power tools, or like maybe it's just magic.
God's fine with it.
Yeah, he's cool.
Is it for skating? Sure. Go
Absolutely.
ahead. That's sick.
Yeah, so the last one the last park he made, he hated it. Like it was everything he like wanted, but like he just hated it. So tore it down, and we built like probably the craziest bowl I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a thing online. It looked pretty wild.
Yeah, it was nuts. Oh my god.
Alright, well then let's go further back. How did you link up with Bam initially? Because you're a dude from Lakeville.
Yeah.
And there is a skate scene from Lakeville, which is crazy to me. Because
Right.
it's like a small, it's not a very big place, you know? It's kind of obscure. But there's a lot of skateboarders that come out of there.
Definitely.
How do you end up from Lakeville Park, shittiest, best park ever, to like living at Bam's house?
Shit, I mean, you know, going to California, thought school would make me happy, thought working would make me happy, and just like, it made me miserable. Started living in a tent out there, came back here.
Where in Cali?
Southern California for the most part.
So like LA area?
A little bit more south.
Oh, so like San Diego-ish?
Orange County.
Orange County, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I came back here and wanted to go, like, you know, travel around, like, the whole tent lifestyle, and just never left FDR, I guess. I loved it so much when I got there. That's where I met and linked up with Bam.
Yeah. What were you going to school for? Or were you trying to go to school for?
Like art.
Yeah,
art
just to draw and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's like principles of like art and design and stuff. Like I didn't know, like, you know.
Yeah.
Looking back, I'm like, what the fuck? What would I do to that? Like, someone would tell me what to draw, and I'd draw it for them. Like, you know, outside of skateboarding, like, I don't want to do that. But inside of skateboarding, maybe.
Yeah. Like you would just have a job where you're like, some corporate dude was like, hey Dickey, you work for us. We need you to make this for this Clorox brand or something. Right. And you'd be like, alright, I gotta draw this thing.
For real.
Yeah, it'd be like a work.
Oh man, it would ruin like drawing for me. It would. And almost pretty much going to school pretty much almost did ruin drawing for me.
Yeah?
Like, oh, it was too much.
What was the initial, like, what made you think to like leave school?
I had one professor that was like, you know, these companies that you give your resume to, they're not gonna fucking care like if you have a piece of paper saying you graduated or not. They want to see your portfolio.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so much money to sit in this classroom.
Yeah.
Like,
And that was the straw?
yeah, that was it. I was like, I like that guy. I'm leaving.
I never pursued school after high school. And it was just because, like, I didn't know why I would go. And it was so much money. And I was like, I don't really know, like,
Right.
why I'd even want to continue going to school necessarily. Now, I feel like now, if I went to school, it'd be better because I'm a little older and I could, like, kind of narrow down my interests instead of paying for all those, like, starter classes and shit like that. You gotta, I could just, like, pick something that I want to specialize in that might actually help me now that I'm older and understand that. But, like, straight at 18, it's like, how the fuck do you even know?
Well, shit, I mean, I did wait until I was 22, so I probably just had, like, a 4-year out of high school crisis where I was just like, oh, what the hell am I going to do?
Like, school, I guess.
Right.
Oh, you skating. Just stick with the skating, which you have. You stuck with skating the whole time. Something about that, you know?
Definitely.
So, we're out in Cali, and then you end up coming back home because school's not your thing.
School's not my thing. I was out there living in a tent for like a year.
In Cali?
In Cali.
What's the situation where you're at? You're in Orange County, so it's not too bad. I know, like, up,
Not too bad.
like, there's Skid Row in LA with all those people and stuff. You weren't there, were you?
No.
That's good.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, like, the homeless population out there is, like, insane. Like, there's so many homeless people, and, like, the majority of them are just, like, strung out on drugs. So,
Yeah.
like, it's weird.
And there's, like, the perfect weather, so, like, they can just live out there, too, you know?
Really,
Like, it's like out here, it's harder to be homeless.
Right?
Yeah.
You just gotta, like, brave the elements.
Winter's coming, and if you can't even, like, keep it together to get an apartment, like, you're probably gonna have a hard time surviving a winter, you know what I mean? Like, rough.
So rough.
Yeah. Half of it's not their fault, though.
Yeah,
A lot of broken people that have, like, you know, issues that they can't get past, and it's not like this society is the most helping, you know what I mean? There's tons of pitfalls for, like, people that are downtrodden to fall into and then go deeper into some version where they're on the street, you know?
Yeah, and it, like, definitely can break your spirit when you're kind of, like, living like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can see, like, why people, like, have a hard time picking themselves back up from, like, something like that.
Yeah. I always think about that, just because, like, you know my story. Like, broken family, my mom was basically struggling the whole time, you know? Thank God she had some assistance and stuff, but she was definitely needed, like, more help. She needed more therapy and less pills, you know?
Yeah.
But they don't really give you that so much, or, you know, so. But it's an easy slide to be on the streets forever, dude.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, so, decide to leave Cali.
Decided to leave Cali, came back here. Shit, I think I had like a bad groin at the time, which took a couple months to heal, and then, you know, spring came around. And
Your groin?
Yeah.
From skating?
Yeah, I pulled my groin like right before I left, and I just like...
Brutal.
Yeah.
What's it feel like when you're skating? Do you only feel it when you're skating or all the time?
Usually only when I was skating. I mean, it would be alright for a little bit, but something would happen, and it would just like start to hurt again. You know what I mean? Like some movements.
Like in your fucking crotch, or where does it hurt? Yeah.
In the crotch, like you know, like right next to like everything. But it's just like, you know, it's just like your leg. It's just like that's your kind of like center skating, really. So it's just like if I landed primo, like it would just throw up my groin. Like, flat. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, so that was like a shitty injury to deal with over a winter. But yeah, it's just spring came around, I got antsy, I wanted to leave, get out of the house and go explore. Fuck, I love to do that shit.
Hell yeah.
Made my way down to FDR. I mean, I went to some art show in New York City with Lucas Buford.
Nice, yeah, that dude's got some sick shots. Yeah, Sabo. Is it Sabo or Sabo? I'm not sure.
I think it's Sabo.
But dude's such a legend. Yeah, Walker rips too. He has I think he did a brand called Old Friends, maybe?
Really?
I feel like he did like a small apparel brand at one point. But yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
New York's a wild place in itself.
Yeah, I did sleep on the streets in New York for like 3 weeks too. It was wild.
How do you feel about being a drifter, Dickey?
Drifter. Anthony.
It's not insulting. How do you feel?
I mean, I like it in a way. I mean, like, I always will have my roots, and like I'll always have that like connections that I meet with people, like, you know, for the rest of my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like the connections that I've made. whatever. But like, I just think it like really helps like you understand the world in a different aspect and kind of like expand like your mind and
Well, there's gonna be pros and cons for sure.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
like, yeah, because I drifted for a while. Like you're doing it at the right age. You gotta kind of get lost and figure out what you're made out of and what you're doing, and so you can find something to aim at. Like I always say that. Like, because you're born into the world and you're just this little seed, and then you're born into being dependent on other people to help you, and then you get to the point where you're like, all right, now I got to see what I'm made out of, see if I can do it and what I want. Yeah, a lot of people get that stolen from them because the people kind of direct their path or tell them to do these things, or like, like sometimes you got to swim and figure it out for yourself. A lot of people get sold like education at 18, and it's like
you got stuck.
Yeah, they promise you money and security and like this will work, and it doesn't always, so there's pros and cons to everything, right?
Absolutely.
But personally, how do you feel about being a drifter? Do you feel like you're fine with it?
I prefer the word gypsy.
Gypsy's pretty nice. I don't know the difference.
Like
What's the difference? I like the term skateboarder because skateboarders kind of slum it at times and drift and like in and out, and we have like people we see all over the world that skate and can connect.
I almost feel like as human beings, like we're supposed to be nomadic. Like we roam the earth for thousands and thousands of years, and like only it seems like recently that we've settled into like
Not necessarily that it's our purpose, but we definitely did that. We're capable of it. Maybe for some people it might be something, And it's like you don't have to be either or. Like sometimes you can be a fucking drifter, and then next minute you could be fucking businessman, or like life could be long,
Absolutely.
If you're lucky, you could do a whole spectrum of things. You could be like a child, you could be an adult, you could be a son, you could be a brother. If you get lucky, like or a friend or whatever, There's like a lot of things you can be over a long term,
Absolutely.
I don't mean to pigeon you down as a drifter for life.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a bad thing. But I know society or whatever, the world is like, remember when I started skating, it wasn't cool. It was like people frowned on us for skating. We were like troublemakers, drifters or whatever, because we just go wherever, skate wherever.
Well, I do look like a troublemaker, so I asked for it.
More of a gypsy. More of a gypsy. I don't know. Just depends on where you're at. I guess if you're in Southern California, it's more relaxed. How about on the East Coast? People are fine with you just doing whatever, whenever.
I mean, yeah, they're cool. They're like, I feel like everyone that I've met has like been pretty like understanding and accepting of my lifestyle. Like I don't really ask anything from anybody, and like I'm pretty self-sufficient, so it's not like I'm like a burden on anybody in any way.
That'll help. Because sometimes people are like drifting, you want to help them, but then they become a burden, and then that sucks, Whereas like other times, someone's a drifter, and you give them shelter or whatever, and they're cool, and they wash your dishes, they go, like they have manners. Like when we were on skate trips and stuff, whoever we stay with, Saskia was telling me that, like, wash the dishes or do something nice. They're like letting us stay, like Fibro tours back in the day. What else? So on the East Coast, it's been fine.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. I mean, I don't think I've gotten in really too much trouble although I did get in trouble in New York for being at the park after 10:30 when I was trying to sleep there one night.
Oh yeah. Just for being there?
Just for being there.
In New York City, that seems like, what's the park? LES?
LES.
That seems so strange.
Didn't say anywhere in the whole skate park that, you can't be past 10:30, but I guess, like, that's because all the kids sticker slap the signs.
Yeah, but even at that, it's like, who cares, let the dude sleep, Weird, you were telling me, though, what about the weed UI? Is that what you called it?
Oh, it's a weed UI.
Under the influence, right?
Oh my god.
How the fuck does this happen? In 2019?
2019.
Oh my god.
We need a glass of
Go
water
ahead.
for this
I'm gonna
one.
go to YouTube real quick. Roughs on Skateboard says, it may just be my phone, so don't sweat it. Not picky about the audio is low. Oh, it's a little low, that's why. Hopefully. We'll talk louder. Oh! It's for the YouTube. Tim McKenney says, was already calling you that. A skate gypsy on the mystic journey. Shout out to Jimmy Larson. Yeah, Tim McKenney's a legend too.
Yeah, that's him.
He's dread, dude.
That's what's up.
Skateboarding, like, it made more sense. Like, when I was coming up, a lot of people were just gypsy style all the time. Drifting, going to different skate communities and shit. It's pretty sick. Alright, tell me about this weed you high.
Alright, so I just got back from a trip to Cali, like recently, like literally like the first or second night back. I was at Bam's house, we're all having a paint session on canvas or whatever, and it's probably like midnight at this point.
Fucking hippies. Satanic hippies, bro.
Right.
Gypsies. Go ahead.
We're all painting, and like Bam's like, hey Dickey, I'm like, I'll get someone to suck your dick if you go get me smokes right now. So I'm like, shit. I haven't showered in 3 days, but good luck with that. I'll do it anyways.
Oh my god.
So I get in this Range Rover, I start driving down the street, and all of a sudden I get lit up by the cops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, like what am I doing wrong? Like I thought I was fine. So I pull over, you know, cop comes up to me, he's like, son, you have any idea why I pulled you over this night? I said, no, officer, I don't. He's like, your lights are off. I'm like,
Oh shit, you're too stoned already?
but in my own
Usually I get
defense,
the lights.
the fog lights on that car are so bright, it just looks like a 2000s like Corolla.
Oh, I've been here
Like,
before.
yeah, it's just like,
Could
lights.
happen to any of us, yeah.
So he's like, son, your lights are off. What are you on?
You're like, Pop, Dad.
I was like, I'm on the road. What do you mean? So he has this flashlight and he's flashing around the car, and there's a strange substance on my lap. So he's like, hey, what's on your lap? Is that pot? Is that weed? And I was like, I looked down and I'm like, no, officer, I was eating Oriental ramen noodles raw, and that's just the seasoning for it.
Is that what it was?
Really,
You just
that's
had
what it
ramen
was.
seasons
I
on
had ramen seasons on my lap.
Man, if you got arrested for that, they're gonna run it.
Right, test it.
Bring in the dog. He's like, that's fucking chicken flavor for sure.
Right. Shit, I'm a vegetarian, so I don't really get down with the chicken, but like the Oriental, that's vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm not mad. I used
So-
to eat those things every day, all day.
Right? Yeah, for real.
I still eat them once in a while, just like crack an egg in it, so I feel better about myself.
Right. Screw that. Yeah.
But whatever.
Fancy ramen.
It's still the same shit.
You
Yeah.
try all the flaming hot Cheetos yet?
Nah, I don't like once it gets past the you know when they start making the creamy flavors. They would do the flaming making creamies. After that, I just stuck to the like OGs. I was like beef,
Really?
chicken, and there's pork. I'll fuck with pork flavor, and the Oriental's dope. But they got a little too crazy for me. So you're covered in fucking ramen dust.
Covered in ramen noodles. Guy's like, son, step out of the car for me. So I'm like, ugh. Gives me a full sobriety test. I felt like I passed with flying colors. I was sore as fucking hell, and I still stood on one leg for 30 seconds with my head like,
Hell yeah.
walk
That's
the line
impressive.
perfectly. Like, maybe do a bunch of dumb shit. Like, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like those things are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I always see them.
So I guess he's like, son, have you smoked weed at all today? And I was like, he's like, you gotta tell me now or I'm gonna make this like 1,000 times worse on you. Because I'm giving you a swab test.
You're like, it's 2019, bro.
Yeah. I was
Is it
like,
still illegal in Pennsylvania?
it's legal in Philadelphia,
Okay.
but not Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. Is Pennsylvania like it's rural, so it's more out there, so it's like
Yeah.
probably more conservative in that sense? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was like, well, you know, I smoked weed. I took a couple hits off a joint at 5 o'clock, and I skated for like 4 hours, and it's now like 12 o'clock.
Like, I'm
12:30,
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't look it, but I'm fine. I look
Yeah.
like a drifter, but I'm fine.
Right?
I have a car. I'm in a
Yeah,
car.
and I'm driving a fucking Range Rover, by the way. Like,
Oh, yeah. There you go.
ain't mine, but like, thanks, fam.
Whatever. Damn, so did you end up having it? Did they take it further, or where does it go?
They took it so far, they're like, all right, here's option A, here's option B. Option A, you lose your license for 12 months or whatever if you don't give blood. Option B is you give blood, and we're going to decide if we're going to fuck you or not.
Really?
Yeah, so they arrested me, and the best part is, like, as I'm getting cuffed and everything, they're searching my pockets, and what do they find?
Weed? No.
Oriental ramen noodle packets with the seasoning pack.
You found it on you?
They found it on me. They searched the car, didn't find shit. Searched me.
Guilty.
So,
Lock them up for being Oriental
Oh.
flavored.
for real. Damn hippie in his bed just hearing and shit.
God damn it.
Yeah.
You need a mortgage and some debt.
Yeah.
I'll respect you then, bro.
Oh man, none of them like Bam anyways, so it's just like I feel like they're just like fuck these guys.
That's the wrong state for Bam.
Yeah.
We need to go somewhere more down south, maybe.
Yeah, true
A
that.
little more, maybe. That's crazy. So he probably had run-ins with them a lot. Had
Yeah.
stuff at his house.
Yeah. I mean, the last party we tried to throw, the cops shut it down to the point where they were circling helicopters over the house, and
Bam, 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 bam. Cops tonight. Bam's house.
Right. They put a siege on the house.
What?
We tried to throw the party, and like no one could leave or like come in. Like there was stadies on every fucking corner of like the block. Like
people are fucking bored, man.
all that tax money into policing something where they could have made something out of it.
So describes Bam's house to me? So like, does he just take in characters? He seems to just take in like people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he likes people.
From what I understand, he's been doing that throughout the years for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like he's the dude who's just like, yeah, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Come join.
For real.
Yeah.
It's like that for sure.
Bam stock. He needs to do a festival maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever done that before, but like instead of Woodstock, do like a Bam stock.
Right.
You're just like, yeah, it's all fucking sick music and people just come in.
Yeah.
It gets muddy. You ever been to Rob stock?
I haven't been to Rob stock. I've been wanting to go these past few years.
Same concept, just like
Yeah.
people come out, skateboarders just lurk to the middle of Maine and get muddy. Gross. Sick though.
Right. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard because like the cops have passed a bunch of like Bam laws, as he calls it, where like he does something and they're all pissed off about it, so like they have like a town meeting and just like put an end to it.
So funny. I remember when Bam, like when I first heard about Bam, he was like fucking so little. He was like a pudgy little kid
Right.
that was just skating mini ramp. It was all before everything, you know, before the TV and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just like,
Really? That way back then? That's
Yeah.
when you met him?
well, I don't know if I met him then, but I remember seeing him in videos.
Yeah.
And like watching him and be like, who the
Big
fuck
Brother
is
and
this little
stuff.
kid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
He's a little pudgy dude, you know, like, and he's ripping a mini ramp and he was getting hooked up, and then he just, from there you watched him like do it, like almost leave skateboarding in some sense,
Yeah, I mean,
or go into a different genre of stuff, you know.
yeah, I mean, he is like a very multi-talented person, so it wasn't like, I feel like that was premeditated on
Yeah.
his part. He wanted to do more than just skating, for sure.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I see it, like, you get pulled in, like, different directions, like, I'm that way, too, like, you know, sometimes I get pulled into, like, art a little too much.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to say neglect skating, but I put skating on hold for, like, a painting I'm really into or something.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, it happens to everybody as they get older. You
Yeah.
have to like kind of, you can't be the dude on tour after a while, you know. You got to be the
Yeah.
dude that's fucking doing the emails or shipping the boards or whatever the fuck you need to do, you know.
Absolutely. Just
Um,
like, it's about diversifying your skills and stuff. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
around what you got.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I just remember Bam as like a little dude, you know.
Yeah.
Like, just sort of before the Bam hype, you know, before it was like famous Bam.
Right. That's
It was-
pretty cool.
Just seeing him and being like, this is crazy, and then to watch it, you know.
But,
And then some people only know him just from his show, you know,
sure.
which is wild too.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, no, you don't have to say nothing. Just hang out. It's so weird, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely, like, kind of,
It's just extra space. And just like,
yeah, I mean, he's got another house where, you know, it's more of like a home for him and his wife Nikki and his son Phoenix.
yeah,
And they got 5 rooms in that house, and like, you know, it's like Chris Markovich and I don't want to say his fiance or his wife, I'm not sure, but Chris Markovich and his significant other Renee and like their son Ransom's been staying at like Dan's like house.
oh, that's sick.
As far as the castle, like when we were all building, like the whole like build crew was like living out of the house in Hatch Club.
Yeah.
It was like a little like pool house where it was kind of like the barracks of the build. Yeah.
So you just chill, skate, hang out there for a while, and then they come through and there's all this shit going on.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
dope.
I mean, the more that goes on in the house, like the happier band is, like the
Yeah.
more the merrier, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty wild.
Really likes it.
Is it mostly skateboarders? Or
Yeah, mostly. I mean, there's some other people that come through too. It's usually not too many troublemakers, but yeah, it's mostly skating, which is like really good.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's insane. And he has the ramps now, right? He has a park there too.
yeah. Like
Yeah, that was what I saw you do, that like slash the fakie over the oververt, like.
Oh, that was actually the first part.
Oh, it was.
The
Okay.
second
That
part
was
is-
fucked up, by the way.
Yeah, the second part is like, oh my goodness, Anthony, y'all gotta get down there.
Like the newest one,
Yeah,
dude, for sure. That'd be a fun trip.
for real.
That'd
for
be
real.
really fun. How far is Pennsylvania's out there though?
It's
Still
like
worth it?
It's a 7-hour drive.
Oh,
I mean,
dude, we do that.
yeah.
We do that for Rob Stop. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, dude.
Right?
I guess we'll have to make it.
Yeah, for real. I mean, like, I'm sure we can arrange something where y'all can, like, stay there and, like, we'll have like, space and, like,
Well, we just went
shelter.
to Martha's Vineyard and we just fucking camped. They
Yeah.
gave us like beds and shit, but we were like, we kind of just want to camp right now.
Right?
Camped out in the dude's backyard.
True that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun when you're just going, like, for me, it's fun if I'm camping just for a weekend. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, full time, it's, like, a little bit of a chore, but,
Are you, were you, like, at one point you're hustling to clean yourself at, like, public places and stuff? How do you get some of the things you're giving
Oh,
up
shit.
for freedom? How do you get those things?
bird baths at, grocery stores. You know?
Nice.
Like the sink showers, like shit. When I was living at FCR, like I'd just like take puddle baths and shit and just go like run out in the rain and like wash myself and stuff.
Get the undercarriage.
Yeah,
Move
absolutely.
the boys around, make sure some water gets down there.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
yeah. I mean, like the hardest thing about like I guess that is like keeping your feet clean. Just like tent foot, as I call it, is like the realest shit, and it just like makes your feet like throb and like burn a little bit.
Yeah, man. That's like in the army. You have to like keep clean socks and
Yeah.
like that's like really important if
For real.
everything.
That quote from Forrest Gump
Yeah.
runs through my head every day.
Nice. Oh, Elwood getting crazy. Oh, so at risk of offending you, I guess. I hope not, but sometimes I ask people this and they get kind of mad at me. Not necessarily you, but do you have a plan, or are you aiming at something?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I'd like to hear that.
You'd like to hear it?
Yeah, why not?
Have a bunch of footage. I'm gonna do something with it, and shit, it's like, I'm just like trying to like work for. I don't even know like how to like describe it. You just put me on the spot, SHETLER.
Sorry. Here,
You're
I'll
good.
go.
No,
I'll go
dude,
first
yeah.
because I aim at things. So like, you gotta aim at things,
Yeah.
right? It's cool to drift. I like to drift. I was talking before about like just coming into the world, everything being new. You know what's crazy about that too is when you first come in, the people before you created the world you're coming into.
Yeah.
So it's like there's rules that you don't even, and then you see the bullshit in their ways because no one's perfect.
Right.
So you're like, this is a world that I have to like, you become like a middle-aged person, 20, 30. And then it's like, you gotta aim at things. Like I aimed at being a pro skateboarder and I just like filmed all the time. I played the game. There was like, they were like getting every magazine. So I was like, all right, I'm getting every magazine. Like
Yeah.
moved out to Cali, met the right people, got checkouts in all the mags. And then it was like film video parts. So I did that and it just worked out, like played the game, worked hard, enjoyed it, whatever,
Yeah.
And that happened. But that was something I aimed at, And there's other things I aim at all the time, but.
Absolutely.
So skating's one thing. You have
Skating.
aspirations to do something with skating.
100%. Like I'll never give it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll never give it up. But it's just like the skating part, and like I just want to do like the gypsy life a little bit, and just like really work for like skating and like kind of like building something like with the lifestyle that I live to like kind of like really help people
Yeah.
that get stuck in, they kind of just get stuck. Like, I didn't fucking, if I knew now what I didn't know at like 18 years old. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the information you'd have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like the life experience, really, It's like, you gotta live it, so like, I'm not gonna tell anyone else how to live their life. They only got their own, like,
Yeah. I think the problem with some people that they get mad at, like people that live like a drifter lifestyle or gypsy lifestyle, is that they think you're trying to escape work.
No.
which I don't necessarily like. I think we all owe a bit of work, but I don't think it necessarily you have to just like. That's not your whole purpose, is to just work aimlessly for something you don't give a shit about, you know?
It's just like, you know, it's like when I think of work, like what I do, like on a gypsy mission or like whatever, just the lifestyle I live, it's just like, I feel like it's a 24/7 thing. It's not just like working for a paycheck is sick and all, but like I'm really like working for a dream, and I don't care if like, you know, like making a dime right now, like maybe it would be nice, like that's like the ultimate goal is to like, you know, get paid for like doing something you like to do.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like I feel like I go skateboarding for sure.
Well, see, the thing, I like that. The thing that happens is people get robbed of those passions and dreams and pursuing them, where they could make a living doing something they love because they don't take risk, or because they listen to someone else and they just got the safe alternative and needed the money. Like, people convince you that you need to have all these things, mostly because they have them and they might not be as happy with all. Like, join Misery Loves Company, but I don't know, not always. I agree though. Like, I never skated to avoid work ever. Like, I love skating because it can be trivial and playful, and you don't have to associate it with doing anything. It can be so stupid, you know. But I also like that you can work at it, and it can get complex, and you can compete with it, or you can compete with yourself, and like you can step your level up. You know, like it's very rich in what you can do with it. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people who get paid to like skate would be sick.
Yeah. I mean, not even just being paid, but like my like whole like spiel on it, if I make a dime or not, it's just like I want something like to leave behind after.
Yeah.
You know, I want to like, you know, make that footprint in the world. I want to have something that lives longer than I do. So that's really what it's about at the end of the day.
Well, that's why people have kids though, right? They aim after having kids, because then the kids inherit the earth, so you're invested fully, because your seed has to propagate into the future, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's like one way to leave your legacy.
Some people do that, yeah. I don't mean the only way.
Yeah.
I just mean like that's one way that people do that, you know?
Sure.
That's a traditional way, it's like have a kid, you know?
Absolutely.
Which I'm not against either.
Yeah.
It's amazing, people gotta have kids.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you and me would not exist.
Right.
I was a sperm, Dickey.
Fastest swimmers.
I don't know. Is that true? I figured I just got shot out first, and the momentum of everybody else pushed me into it. I was like, oh, I was smushed in. I'm like, guess I'm born. Came out. I was like, where the fuck am I?
Right. Just tripping like, oh my god, what is this place?
So funny. I'm still kind of like that every day. I'm like, we're fucking alive. This is so weird, you know?
Right.
As much as we can get caught in our emotions and like get carried away, like you stop and peel out of the way and like all the stories and just look up. You're like, this is fucking insane, you know? It's like overwhelming, you know? Yeah, I don't know. The only reason I ask is because like to go back to like aiming at things and whatever. It's just like, I feel like the dream doesn't work unless you do or I do, or like it's always, I feel like for me to be involved with skating like I am right now, I've had to like take on responsibility of doing work with skating that I don't necessarily want to, you know, but that way it's possible because I was pro, so now it's possible for someone else to be pro, because I'll do like all the behind the scenes shit of running a brand to be able to turn someone pro, you know?
Absolutely.
So that like to me is like, okay, I owe work because I was lucky to turn pro. Because when I thought about it back in the day, I got sponsors, and sponsors were cool and they'd pay me, you know. Like the cool part was like my friends were like working for these companies and they'd support me, and it was cool to like, but ultimately some of these brands weren't owned by skateboarders, so then the money dries up. But it was cool to have a sponsor to support me in skating, you know. Like all I did was skate too much almost, so I was always hurt probably. You know? But it was sick. I got a tour, I got to travel, I had pro boards, like all that stuff was so sick, you know. But now I feel like because someone else did the work for me then, I have to do that for someone else, you know. And it's like reciprocal, you know, where it's like,
100%.
yeah, I'm sure it's the same with a lot of things, you know, like, because we get older too, and it's like you still want to be involved. There's like roles, and everyone can do their own thing, you know. And skating, it's so sick. It's hard enough that it keeps you engaged, which is really, it's hard to find something like that, you know?
Yeah, for real. It's just like, oh man, there's nothing like it. It's just like the best feeling in the world. Like,
yeah. And then what about, but even at that, like, if you wanted to be a pro skateboarder, someone would support you, right? And help you skate, take you on trips and do all that stuff, right? That'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
In turn, what would your obligations be? Live that life.
Live that life too. Like, do the best that I possibly can do. Like, really be like helpful towards the youth. Like, I do want to, like, you know, almost build my own DIY park one day, or like really contribute.
I know some homies that did that one.
Yeah.
Like, built the DIY and updated it and stuff.
Yeah.
Way sick.
Yeah, I mean, Philly's like really opened my eyes to a lot of like possibilities, like as far as like FBR and like building goes, and just like really like kind of leaving a path almost for, you know, the next generation, for them to stray off and branch out, you know, and grow in a different way.
See where it goes.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm just all for like the skateboarding, because like I feel like skateboarding has given me just like such a purpose, like in everyday life. Like I feel like I couldn't, I don't know, like I wouldn't, the hell, like if I woke up and just went to work every day, like what would I look forward to? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps you. It helped me develop, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's nice when you have something like that, then it makes working, like, not so bad.
It makes
like,
it cool,
yeah. Even if, like, you're not making a living off of your art or your passion or whatever, but you're working a normal job that necessarily is like, you take that money and put it into what you love. So, like, I that's cool too, because then you're flexible to help, like, more than just skateboarding too, you know? Because I've worked for other people, like a warehouse and apparel and clothes, and like you start to become friends with like all the people that work in there, and some of those people are just like the people that they make their money and they spend it, and it's just enough, you know.
And that's like definitely a good thing for you, because that's something you're interested in, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wanna, like,
I chose that.
Yeah.
You chose to. You gotta aim at things.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's why I asked you. You're aiming at things, because otherwise you're just out there. Like some people hit a certain age and they're not really aiming at anything, and they get kind of like pulled every direction, or they catch bad habits, and then they do self-destructive things, and they're not like continually working on something. You get carried away if you're not aiming at it. There's so many things you could be doing. You almost have to narrow it down so you can specialize on something. That's what, if anything, skateboarding's helped me with that. Because I have like a lot of energy, and I can see a lot of possibility in everything. You know, you could be good at anything if you're willing to work and be excited about it, you know, and be like, they have reasons, you know. But to narrow it down to one thing so you can make all the mistakes and figure out what works with it. It's like skating, like learning a trick, you know. So you gotta try all the ways until you find what's kind of truthful, and then you repeat that as much as you can remember, you know, like a gnarly trick or something. It's fucking insane. I don't even know where I was going with that. But things are good. So now it's the question I want to ask you. So mentally, like things are good. You're content. You're happy.
Content's about like not content, but like I'm happy. I wake up every day and I'm just like really lucky that I feel lucky that I've walked like in the shoes that I have.
Yeah,
truly.
That's epic. Yeah. See, money doesn't make or break anyone either. You know what I mean? Because even if you have all the money in the world and you're lost and don't know what to do with it, or worse, you're nihilistic and angry and want to do destructive things with it, you know, then it's not even good. You can have all the zeros and it's just going to ruin you and those around you. It's like, it doesn't matter, you know?
Just want to, you know, put good like vibes and thoughts out to like everyone around me. So it's just like, that's like where I'm at. I just want everyone to be like, you know.
Yeah. Well, just, which it sounds like you do, but just carry your weight. That's all. Like you're saying, don't be a burden that way. It's like, if you can be helpful, you can be helpful, you know, and people will appreciate that, you know. It's just when people become a burden. Because, like, dude, it's hard enough just to carry our own loads. We all have internal beings and thoughts and issues and feelings that we all have to deal with, you know. And it's a day-to-day thing because we're always in motion, you know. If you're doing it right, you're not always stagnant, you know. So it's like, as long as you carry your own weight, you're not a burden on everyone or yourself, you know. Then you're fine, you know. Hell yeah. How long you been skating for?
14 years now.
Yeah, there you go. How old did you start?
Right before I turned 12.
Damn, sick. Yeah, I started when I was like 12, 13. And just like kept skating all the time after that, you know. Do you remember your first board?
It was the really sorry flip deck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the yellow one. The yellow logo.
That's sick. That's a good one right there. Yeah, mine I think was first skateboard, I want to say Santa Monica Airlines, SMA, but it was just given to me. So I didn't even know what that was. So if I say it and someone's like, oh, it's sick, it's like, I only found out because I just began that. And then I think it was Santa Cruz, maybe. But, and then I think after that, another board I remember was a World Industries one. My brother got, brand new one, like sickest cartoon graphic of the Devilman, Flame Boy. And my brother was so hyped on that board, and I was like, can I borrow it? And I borrowed it and snapped it. That I was skating and snapped it on a heel flip. Dude, boned him out so bad. He was so pissed. Yeah, he probably cried. If I remember the story correctly, he definitely cried. I would have too. He was like, ah, it's gone. Now we don't have a board. Sam's a beast.
Here it is.
He's out in Australia. Living his life.
Oh man, your brother used to take me out on like skate missions when I was mad young, probably like 13, 14.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was sick. It was epic.
Sam's the man for that,
Right,
huh?
for real.
The hype.
Did the Lakeville contest. You too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sam did the Lakeville contest for years, man.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, I miss that guy. Hopefully he'll come over. I'll have to go over there, you know.
Come back, Sam. Sam.
He's too busy hanging out with the kangaroos and koalas out there.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Someone says post Martha's Vineyard clips. They're ready. I'm so hyped. Those are actually coming out probably tomorrow. Wait, what's today, Dickey? I'm the drifter now.
I think it's a Monday.
Monday, yeah, Tuesday. Probably Tuesday, Wednesday, the latest. I have it in the timeline and I'm working on it, but it's not there yet. But I'll definitely put it out because it came out sick. That park's epic. Martha's Vineyard Park, like we were talking about. They updated it and it's sick. The whole island's cool just to hang out and like we camped out. Our friend just picked us up in his pickup. We jumped in the back. You know what I mean? Took a ferry out there, just traveling, moving, camping.
So it's like a car ferry. You can like bring.
We didn't bring our car though. We just parked at the spot, and you get on the ferry. You just park there, leave your car, get on the ferry. You can bring your car on though. I've just never done that before, so I haven't gotten that far yet. And then we just all hang out, boats, chill, get a beer, hang out, watch that. It's the shit.
Yeah.
Homie on YouTube wants a shout out, but I can't pronounce your name. It's like PLALJWSKSKSK. Like, there's your shout out, I guess.
Get a better handle.
Yeah, go a little simpler so it'll be easy.
Yeah.
Chill. Zach, Lady Gaga, what about scooters? How do you feel about scooters, Dickey?
Just, you know.
It's important, bro. People need to know. Think deep. Take a deep breath. Take a second. We'll talk Olympics too, but we'll start scooters because it's all in the same vein. The same vein, buddy.
As far as I feel about scooters, why don't you just fucking skateboard?
Fair enough.
God.
Yeah, dude. It's cool, but
it's cool. It's like, you know what I mean? I probably feel the same way about scootering as we do skateboarding, but skateboarding is the coolest.
yeah.
Skateboarding is the coolest.
Well, the reason that I have any discrepancy is because I won't compare a little jumpy, what they do on the scooters, with an ollie.
Absolutely
There's degrees
not.
of difficulty there. There's like a learning curve. Actually, the Rolling Stones talked about it. Look it up. There's a learning curve, and skateboarding has a steeper one, and that's why I like skating, because it's fucking hard. It's
So
just hard, right?
Yeah.
And it's so complex too. Like you can do it so many different ways.
Yeah,
They've
it's
already
just
handicapped their skateboard with the handlebar. You're already stuck holding on, bro.
Right.
It's like if you skated first, would you ever want to put the handlebar on?
Oh, hell no.
You would be restricted. You could do it's like there's so much fun stuff. Like, are you joking me? But that's not a shot on the kids. That's not a shot at the kids who ride the scooters.
Scooters, but like y'all can do it. The handlebars.
The people that actually scooter though, some of them are just kids and they just don't know no better. Their parents are like, check out this scooter.
Did you
Safer.
see that fucking kid that
It's
just
not safe.
backflipped El Toro on a fucking scooter? You see that video?
Do you want my opinion or I'll give it to you. It's fucking horrible. Dude, no way. I wouldn't even want to do it on a skateboard though, if I'm fair. I don't even want to jump down 20. But dude, how ridiculous. Good for him, brave. You're the king of top of the mountain, bro. Enjoy it. You're that guy. It's fun, you know? it's funny because a lot of the scooter kids, they know marketing and promoting. Someone taught them that. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, I don't really care how late you are, or 100 you are. Like, why don't you just be cool right now so we can hang out, you know? Some of them are. Some of them are, like, really cool. They're just little kids, you know? I do the lock-ins a lot. But, dude, I'll never dumb down an ollie for scootering. So it's like, if you want me to cheer for what you're doing on a scooter, it's not going to happen. I'll give you, like, yee, just once, maybe just to let you know. But, like...
There's some board taps.
But I'll cheer for an ollie all day. Even louder, because ollies are way sicker. It's like, once you know how hard it is and you can get an ollie down, it's like, you know how awesome that is, you know? And something about pumping on a mini ramp on a skateboard, too.
Oh, man.
It's not the same. They can't even ride backwards, Dickey.
Oh, what?
Not comfortably.
True.
On, like, a scooter, you're stuck like this. They can do it for, like, 20 feet, but it's like, they're stuck. On a skateboard, you can just turn your head or shoulders and just look the opposite way and roll fakie. And do tricks fakie. Like, there's a huge fucking handicap right there. If I couldn't ride fakie comfortably, like, fuck that. Man. Fuck that. Yeah, that's scooters. For sure, take the handlebars off. At some point, they'll get bored and they'll be like, this is just getting ridiculous. Or they'll just scooter forever and I'll just never watch any of the clips because I can care less. Ever. It's like
just a lot of money for a scooter, and I feel like kids who just be buying skateboards.
Oh, dude, that's the worst part about scootering that I see too. Is there's so many marketing gimmicks with the brands and stuff, and they like aim at the parents, and it's like.
And they're not cheap. They're like $1,000.
No, they rob them. They rob their parents because their parents are like, yeah, it's safer, and it's like, no, it's not. Kid's gonna get impaled, but he's not gonna learn to fall. He's gonna fucking because he's not gonna learn to be able to catch himself. They see that all the time.
Flip the thing over their head.
Yeah, they might decapitate another kid with that fucking recycling can and wing above their head.
You ever just skate and it happens next to you? You're like, oh!
You're like, watch the fuck out.
God,
take your teeth out.
Yeah.
How pissed would you be if you got fucking broken into from a scooter just in the face?
I don't even want to think about it because I'm losing my shit.
What's the? All right, here's a question. What's the worst injury you've had? Ever. In your years of living.
Oh shit, my leg came out of my ankle.
Oh, wait, was this the one off the foundation spot?
Yeah, I think we
did talk about this.
We did talk about this last podcast.
You think that's your worst one?
Maybe.
Any bad ones since?
My hip was a fucked up one.
Oh, you were saying that too.
Yeah,
groin.
It was a different one. Different
hips are gnarly.
Yeah.
I had a bruised hip for a while.
It was like internal and like the rotator of it.
Yeah.
Like I like tweaked it and like came down on something and just like saved myself from belly flopping, but
nice.
Got it all twisted up. It was like worse. I rabbit fucking got bodied.
Yeah. The hip's a scary one. I stiff-legged my leg one time and it jarred my hip all weird. Yeah. And I felt it like, dude, that took a while to get back to normal, you know? Yeah, and like you were saying before, it's kind of like everything you like is right in there that you use for skating, you know?
Yeah, for real.
Gnarly.
Like shit, couldn't even like stand on one leg to put on pants in the morning, you know what I mean? Like it was just, yeah, I mean like I fucking took a board to the face like in February and I was alright.
From yourself?
Yeah.
You just shot up?
Yeah, doing a switch flip and the fucking board popped up and just hit me in the face.
Is that the chinnis?
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Been there. I chipped my tooth one time. Skating a hubba, I jumped off the hubba, but it like was head height, like when you learn on the stairs. Because it was like a mellow hubba, but the stairs were a little steeper, so it got taller, sort of, you know? And I came down, hit my teeth right on the hubba, dude. Chipped my front tooth. Worst feeling. And my lip, like,
oh, yeah.
I got like a scar, like, on my lip from just like teeth in it. Kid rocked the chipped tooth for like months, maybe longer. Yeah, that was a weird one. It was nice to get it fixed, though.
Yeah, for real. I have, like, this one.
Yeah.
It's the crown or whatever.
Yeah. Teeth are fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
And I did my ACL a long time ago. That sucks, yeah. But you just rehab, work it out constantly. I like to go to the, I say the gym, but it's really the spa. But I like to go to the pool and the hot tub and sauna and stuff and like work out and stretch my leg and like it helps keep like let me know where I'm at with it, you know?
Yeah, I think I remember telling you telling me back in the day, like the hot and cold, like
Yeah.
like real rapid hot and cold, like helps like heal
Yeah.
really quick.
It's just like, I think it allows you to assess your body more because you're going from hot to cold, and you can kind of like, it pulsates all the blood, like you're just like, and you
Yeah.
can feel where like your ligaments are and everything. Low
Yeah.
impact, like less gravity floating in a pool too. You can like
Definitely.
stretch your legs out more, and like, you know what I mean? You can see if there's where the injury is and where you're tight and stuff like
Yeah,
that. You
yeah.
know, that's big on skating, like stretching. Because sometimes, dude, if I don't stretch and I just eat bad or whatever, I fucking feel like you know those rubber bands that dry up and are all
Oh, yeah.
dingy and crispy? Like, I feel like that, dude. I'm like, oh, fuck. And then I, like, go swimming or something, or, like, smoke some weed and stretch for a while, and you're
Yeah.
just like, dude, all right. Like,
So
here we
good.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing this like stick yoga.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that's been helping.
Stick like a fucking stick?
Yeah, it's a bamboo stick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so one of the homies, his name's Tim, Zen Hailing on Instagram.
Hell yeah.
Shout out.
Chill. My man.
He comes to Bam's house and like he teaches us how to like stretch and like breathe and like get like he's like a healer for sure, and it's
Yeah.
like I definitely do that every day, like probably like, you know, twice, 3 times a day at least, you know.
Damn,
like,
that's wild.
Yeah, like really helps you like understand your body and
Yeah.
get like really stretched out and stuff. Whether it be with a bamboo stick or not.
Yeah, that
So-
might just be funner because you're like, wow, you're
Right.
whipping around. You feel like
Yeah.
Donatello.
But it's just like, it's really like the stick's more of like a less of a tool to like really kind of
Yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah, it's good to move your body because like we're energy and we got meat sacks and we're animating the body, right? So like
Yeah.
if you're stagnant and you're always in one position, it's just like, you know, things are meant to be moving, and you know. And so our jobs, dude, are fucking, half the thing about a job is you're like repetitive and like you're stuck in like a situation or a position or like doing something you don't want to do, you know? You're like, this is too rigid.
Right.
So like a lot of people don't move their bodies that much, I'm sure.
Yeah, you got it.
Maybe more than ever nowadays, hopefully.
That's the best thing you can do about like skateboarding is just knowing yourself, knowing your body. It's just like, and really like working with your body.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true with skating. It helps you stay very aware and sharp with your body because
Yeah.
you're like, to do these things that you want to do,
But
you gotta push your limits, even if it's like you're just learning a back 180 from an ollie. It's
For
like you
real.
still gotta be sharp because it's not fucking easy and you can fall down and get hurt.
it makes you so much
There's
more
not a handlebar.
agile. Yeah.
There's no handlebar.
Like, oh man.
Yeah, you gotta be like cat-like reflexes, be able to tumble and catch yourself. And
Yeah.
like,
For real. Get yourself out of a sticky situation.
yeah, like a front feeble on a handrail.
Yeah, it's
Just
just like
hang up.
getting hung up on like coping on burgers.
Oh,
yeah, it's
brutal.
like,
You just get bodied, you're like out
Yeah.
for 4 days, and you're like, what did I do? How did this happen?
oh man, getting a hipper on like something big was always like the worst for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it was like, oh fuck, it's like 4 days until I could really like even like move again.
Yeah. So,
Good
what
man.
about art? Do you do anything with art?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
Well, I
like,
knew you were drawing. Like ever since I've known you, you've always drawn stuff.
yeah, I've been painting like here and there lately, but I think I want to like make more of a step towards, you know, like kind of selling like art or whatever. Like someone likes my shit, you know.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to make something then. You have to
Yeah,
like go ahead and make
absolutely.
it and put it out there. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the short-term steps like I'm working on as far as the plan goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the half the thing is you gotta know why you'd want to like do that, because that's
Yeah.
gonna become work.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to like ship things out, and it's gonna
Absolutely.
become like a job. But if it's like, you know, but if it's worth the gander, you know. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, definitely if it's just, even if it's just like a little bit, I mean, to support like more or less like skating and like other stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
like, it's hard to bust your ass. Like it really is hard to do like hard labor work and then like want to like give it like 100% skating after. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, your energy is like you only have so much energy, and you gotta
Yeah.
use it towards things. Like I've worked jobs and tried to maintain like skating is at a high level, and it's fucking nearly impossible sometimes. You're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, you know,
Right.
it's intense.
So I mean, like if I could just like, you know, sit in my underwear, drink coffee, and like, you know, smoke a little weed, you know, paint and draw, and, you know, someone likes it, buy it, like I'd be stoked. Yeah.
Kind of underwear. He's
Shit,
like thong.
Fox briefs,
Oh
whatever.
shit, thong. I'd buy that. Fuck yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. That's what. I don't know, because we're in a weird transition period, sort of. You know. It's weird nowadays.
Yeah.
Because supposedly they're gonna automate away jobs, anyways. Like
Wow.
they have like people are like making robots now, like
Oh,
Amazon,
God.
and
For
like
real.
they're gonna automate the cars, and then they're already doing like cashier jobs and stuff like that. So like,
Yeah.
it's like that's pretty wild to think, you know.
For real.
So it's like, what do people do then if those jobs go away? Those are like the biggest job markets in like the world, sectors. Like all those are millions of jobs. People who work at gas stations and people that drive trucks for a living,
Whoa.
and they're gonna automate those jobs away supposedly. Heavy, right?
That's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like supposedly the reality of what's going on. You know, supposedly, I don't know. I'm not a fucking expert.
And I think
But what if those jobs aren't there? Those like entry level jobs, they're just not there. Then you have to like figure out how to survive.
the climate's kind of fucked too. That's gonna like really do a number on us.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
have
it's
big
going
challenges
gnarly.
with that one.
For real.
No matter what, even if you switch it around right now, supposedly
Right.
you're still going through we're still going through some gnarly times. You know,
For real.
I believe that nothing will happen that we can't handle it, but we'll have to all be like focused on the things we give a shit about, so they're
Absolutely.
not destructive.
Yeah.
And they're productive for everyone, you know. And then we'll find ways to solve the problems, you know. Like, but it's hard, it's fucking hard. It's gonna be heavy, but no,
Yeah,
but
it is.
that goes back to the whole thing. Is like, oh, it's so crazy nowadays, Dickey. Because I'm like, it's to me it trips me out because I'm like, people could build careers with social media, you know. Like people do that. They build platforms and then they have websites and stuff like that. You have like a digital online economy almost of people that know how to like use their phones to create a business,
For
you
real.
know.
Shit,
Which
I
is a
can't
cool
even read the damn
concept.
Thing half the time.
Yeah, but it's less about oil, I guess, and less about fucking prisons or whatever, you know. Like I think about people that have power in the world. It's like prisons definitely have power, right?
Absolutely.
Pharmaceutical companies have power and sway. Even the thing you're smoking, like tobacco companies have power
100%.
and sway. And not all these things at their extreme aren't necessarily good for us or like whatever.
The cell phones in itself too. Like,
Yeah. It's like there's new gods, but there's good and bad with all people that come into control and power, you know? Like there's good and bad with each, I'm sure. It's weird times, dude.
Yeah. Just hope the right decisions are being made.
Yeah, you never
Or
know.
what?
Who knows, dude? It's crazy though. People's
I mean,
whole,
I do
whole-
think like it could be worse at times. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just insane to live through it and think about it, you know?
Yeah.
Trying to think back when I was younger, you know? I'm 36, so I'm trying to go back when I was young. But it was just like wars over
Yeah.
oil and fucking, you know what I mean? Like Desert Storm, right? Like it was resources people are fighting over, really, you know? Fucking weird.
That's just like, I don't know. That's just insane.
Yeah, man.
All that.
Yeah, right?
That happens in the world every day. Holy
I'd rather skateboard than do that for sure. Nothing against them, but it's just
Right.
like some shit is just too destructive, you know? Like,
For real.
and there's profiteering, and like there are people that have designed prisons of hell that churn people up for profit, and they have power and sway, and that's like so gnarly, you know? Especially if we all agree that everybody is a being first before they're a human. They're just a being, and then
Right.
the human's your creation, your culture, whatever. But like we're all beings, right? Isn't that the whole concept?
Yeah.
Everyone's breathing and has the
We're all made
experience.
of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Almost same
Consciousness,
stuff.
maybe, right?
Yeah.
All connected to like one stream, sort of. If you
Yeah.
think of everyone's of worth, the same value, you know, to just be alive.
Everything, every like, you know, every part of life, like whether it be like a bird or like, you know,
Yeah. They don't know
It's
if
like
they're conscious though.
tree.
Like
yeah.
if they have like thoughts, like birds and stuff.
No, I just feel like they're all part of the same, like, you know, force. Like,
Yeah.
truly, like everything.
Yeah. They just can't articulate themselves because they don't have language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like animals, like, actually, like, kind of communicate.
They do. They actually
thought.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I feel like as humans, like, we learn how to communicate through the mouth and, like,
Yeah.
kind of, like, really lost, like, other ability, like, to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came more about a rational mind than just like what you understood, like
Yeah, what you felt.
intuitively.
Yeah.
Yeah, at your nature, right? That would make sense. they're more primal. That's what you'd say. Animals are more in touch with nature. We've disconnected from nature because we have the ability.
Yeah.
I think because we have self-awareness. Don't think other animals have as much self-awareness as humans do. You know? You're smoking yourself out, son.
No, dude. I'm got smoke in my eye.
Do you know what I mean? Like humans can reflect and be like, and can correct their ways, and like you can be aware of your actions. You know, like animals, it seems like they're just kind of
really.
Yeah, they're just like they don't know the difference between good and evil. You know what I mean? Necessarily, they just are nature, and nature's just destructive and crazy and like survival. You know,
like they killed for a meal. You know what I mean? They like
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I mean. Like
they didn't have to go to McDonald's drive.
You know, yeah, exactly. It'd be a little different if you had to like
chase down your fucking gazelle for the night, Dickey.
For real.
Out there just fucking hunting people. They were so far away from that.
Yeah.
So I was saying, that's what I was getting at, was like everyone's persona or whatever is in the phone.
Yeah.
It's like their whole lives, and people that indulge in it too, you know? It's like crazy. And all that shit's more invasive everywhere.
Oh, man. Put your phone down. Everything important is happening in front of you. That's not your phone.
Well, I wonder who's the new, like, people in power? Is it them? Because they're building an economy for artificial life, basically.
Sure.
People's, like, digital avatars or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Are they? That's why I wonder this election I'm thinking about. It's weird. I've been paying attention to this election. I don't normally pay attention to politics at all. But I've just been watching all the interviews just because, like, fuck it, you know.
Yeah.
Just to see. I'm like, who's running for president? It's like 20. I think it's like 20-something Democrats, and then 2 Republicans. But
man.
yeah. But it's just crazy to me because I'm like, is it gonna be people with like, I wonder who's in control, you know? Who's the interest, you know? Because before it was like war interests and oil, and like you could tell, you're like, this shit is insane, you know? You're just on for the ride at that point. Especially when you're a kid and you don't know nothing about politics, and you don't know anything about politics and fucking power and what's going on, you know? It's terrifying.
But like, I think like, what I've come to realize lately, as far as politics though, like those guys work for us, like, you know,
Yeah,
we're like
sure.
we're the citizens.
That's
like,
how
you
it
know,
should work.
Yeah,
They're trying to pretend like it doesn't work that way, but like honestly, hundreds of millions of people could just swarm 1% if you really wanted to. You know what I mean? Like in a reality world where you're like, yeah, you could flip this around and this is what would happen. You know?
Yeah, that could be a nightmare too.
Yeah, it's like we have to work together.
Right.
Everyone has to work together because we all have power. We agree that everyone's a being that has the capability to be creative or destructive and everything in between, right? Yeah, fair enough. But that's crazy. It bugs me out, Dickey. Because when I came up, dude, there's a lot of people making money off of fucking families and fucking people over and like digging trenches instead of helping people, you know?
Yeah.
Part of life is not knowing what the fuck you're doing and trying to figure it out. And sometimes you get lost and you build up bad habits and shit like that, or like things happen again and again and it's like trauma and you don't get over it.
It's almost like not knowing what the right thing to do is before like you do the wrong thing first.
Yeah. And then there's like all these fucking businesses and stuff that are there to like capitalize off of your fucking fumbles, you know?
For real.
Or to sell you like a mortgage and knowing you can't handle it. And dude, the shit that
Or
happens.
just give me a fucking DUI over some ramen.
Yeah, over some bullshit. Like, yo, I'm just trying to get by. Like, can I live? Yeah, dude, even on a lesser level. You know what I mean? I always think because my mom is always like, they looked out for her to a point that she was like, kept repeating it. So it was like, then it just became like, she got part of a system, you know? Which is gnarly to think about. And she was a willing participant too, because she was kind of lost and needed more help or something, you know? Fucking crazy. So I don't know. That shit I start thinking about now because I'm 36 and I've always thought about this stuff. But like now I was like watching because I'm like, I want to see who the fuck is running for president, you know? Like, I see Donald Trump, you know what I mean? So it's like so many different people out there. It's insane, man.
For real. So you think like the social media influence would like, you know, be like a major part in, you know, deciding who's...
I don't know. It depends on what we aim at. Are we aiming at fucking like things that we know are wrong? if it's a democracy and people can vote and stuff, it's like, half the thing for me is like, I'm trying to listen to someone who makes sense, you know, and isn't arguing with each other. A lot of it is them arguing and playing politics and trying to like play the game so well that they win. You know what I mean? And that already is, I'm like, you're too concerned at playing the game to win than you are with real issues. It's like, the one dude that I've been listening to is this dude Andrew Yang, and he's an Asian dude who's proposing giving away $1,000 a month to everybody, a UBI, or freedom dividend, which is like, he's saying that we're part of like one of the most prosperous nations / businesses ever, and that you give the people that own the company a dividend, you know? So we're inheritors, people that inherit the wealth of America's prosperity, you know? And that goes back to automation, because he's saying that the way we can give people this $1,000 a month, and it's everybody, no bias, rich, poor, everybody, you can opt in and get $1,000 a month, which would still only be $12,000 a year, which is below the poverty level now. So you could drift and be fine, but like if you wanted to have a house and a car and like you wanted to pursue more at 12 grand a year, you're not going to be able to do that. It's just like living like out of your parents' house, 12 grand, you get food and like you barely can struggle with a car, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, it's not like it's gonna disincentivize people, because if you want nicer things, you're still gonna have to work, but it would step capitalism up by one notch. So instead of capitalism at 0, which it is now, like sink or float, you know, it would be like, here's a cushion, like, so you can just have your basic needs covered. So survival is not on your mind all the time. Because that actually causes people to be dumber. They can show it. Standard deviation in fucking IQ is when people have even one bill that they have to just worry about. It like literally puts stress, it causes people to fucking lose it, you know? Yeah. But the big argument is this socialism, and I guess socialism is when the government controls the means of production and they give out jobs. So they go, we're working at this. They decide what you're working at and they give you jobs, you know? So it's not socialism. If anything, it's like capitalism part 2, I guess, or like a different version of capitalism. Because now no one's starting at 0. Your needs are covered, but now play the game and see what you can get, you know? Or how well you can do it, you know? It's not a perfect answer to anything, but they're saying like, because of the automation, these jobs that people need we don't want them, but we need them, are gonna go away, you know? So they're like, all right, automation's gonna help free us up, but it's gonna, the jobs are gonna be gone, so you're gonna have nothing to do, you know? And there's gonna be no paycheck, so it's like, how do we take care of people who get lost if they're not like, they don't have it figured out, you know? Because it's like, you have to figure out how to run your own business. Like, there are a lot of dudes that are just truckers that are like 40, 50 years old, and you can't like just retrain them to become great at social media, you know? Like, It's not the easiest thing in the world to like, and to know what to do, you know? So I don't know. But I've never voted, so I fucked up to say. Have you ever voted?
No, I think I have like once, maybe.
Yeah. I've never voted, ever. Because I was too busy just growing up and like living my life, and my family was shattered, dude. Like, literally, like, I didn't have no one telling me to vote. And we weren't like the winners of the America. I've loved America. Like, I've always like been super stoked, but we were like poor, you know what I mean? So it's like, who am I gonna vote for? And I listened to I would pay attention and listen, and it's always like shit I don't care about. It's like politics that I don't like. You don't have anything. How the fuck can you be politicking with someone? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm just worried about today. Let's get through today. You know what I mean? Because they're fighting over oil in other countries and shit. You know what I mean? Fucking insane, dude. But yeah, so I don't know. This is a weird one to me. Sorry to keep going. You fine with this?
No, yeah, absolutely. I'm just like thinking to myself, skateboarders vote together or whatever.
I don't know what the answer is, but all I'm saying is like, I've been paying attention, and there's one dude that I would probably vote for, and it's the one that I feel like I'm being set up, you know? Because I never trust politicians, and like, this dude claims he's not a politician, and like, I think it's pretty true. Like, I listen to so many interviews, and I listen to everyone else. There's other people out there that I was like, yeah, I wouldn't be like terrified if they became president, but like, I don't feel like anyone's addressing the root of the problem, which is like, there's disparity in wealth and money. We hold money more than human life. Like, people murder, cheat, and steal for money at the expense of other people's lives.
And we're ruining the planet much.
Yeah.
Way, like, shit.
Well, so like I'm like, you're at that point. It's just like, money seems like a problem. You know, when you're a young kid, you're like, this is insane. You know, but it's not true. Money's a tool. Money's a tool. It's like fire. It's like you can burn villages down, or you can use fire to forge steel and build them up. You know, it's like, what are we aiming at? What the fuck are we aiming at? But yeah, so it's hard. It's hard. It's just like trying to. I want to be proud of where I live. And like the place I live, I love everyone around me. I see a lot of good people. You must see a lot of good people. You drift around and stuff.
Absolutely.
Right? There's like more good people than bad, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, I'm like, those are our real value as people, you know, and like the qualities they possess and the things they're working at, and if they're helping each other. Like those are like the real currency over like whatever the fuck it was, you know. I'm not gonna go fight for oil. I get it, that we need cars and shit, but like other ways, you know? We gotta figure it out. Fucking the same. Nice. You should aim at quitting cigarettes.
Yeah, for real.
Sabotage, Dickey.
Right.
Oh.
Got me.
I gotta talk about it, dude.
No, I know.
Is it a guilty pleasure? Admit that much.
It is.
Good for you.
My favorite part of the
Good
day
for
is
you.
when I wake up and drink a black coffee with a cigarette.
Does it help you shit or something?
Yeah, usually my second cup of coffee.
I love coffee. Cigarettes always seem like too much of a risk for me. Just a little scarier for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's too much. You know?
I might be wrong, but I always like looked at the stats, and same with drinking too, though. You know, everyone has their vices. No one's perfect by any means. I'm not judging, but I'm gonna bust your balls because it's fun.
Absolutely.
But that's one that, like, because of the stats, I'm always like hoping people outgrow it or get past it, because it's like one of those things that if the stats are correct, and who knows in this world, right? Who fucking knows in this world about anything, right? Donald Trump, there's confusion around. There's people throwing things left and right, experts, this, there. It's insane, dude. But still, that one I'm always like, try to avoid it, you know?
I mean, I do my best to take care of myself and stuff, so.
That's good.
You know, just smoking is a
Could be
very,
your ice cream.
What's up?
It's your version of ice cream.
Yeah, it's
I
a
just
little
go
bit.
get a fatty McFatty ice cream. Just like comatose myself.
Oh man, you have no, Shelly, you have no idea. You know the Thrasher ice cream challenge where it's like eat a gallon of ice cream? Like,
No, that's fucking amazing.
I've beat that challenge like at least
Easily.
half a dozen times.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like that's like easy. That's a challenge. Step it up. Okay, so are you working on a video part? That's a real question.
yeah, I have a good amount of footage, and it just needs to be finalized. Like I have like a VX part like in the works.
That's sick.
Just needs like, you know what I mean, like another whatever, and then probably have like maybe like an HD part or two that I just need to like, you know, finish up on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sick, man.
absolutely.
Well, I'm hyped to see it, and I'll help promote the show. I mean, I'm sure Bam will help you promote it too, which is sick, man.
That'd be sick, dude.
I love when people just keep working on video parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say that, and even though I was like, my last one might be my last one. And it's like, I just can't, like, it's just not gonna be, like, I don't know if I can get as gnarly. Like, I'm 36, and, like, my body hurts so much. Dude, if you watch the beginning of my part, it's like 10, 20 slams. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it's so many good slams.
Oh, so many. Oh, man. It was hard to watch all that. Fucking dude, you got bodied on so many. But, like, I think that's just, like, the coolest, like, you know, your legacy as, like, a skateboarder. It's just, like, you go through different phases of skateboarding. It's never the same. It's just always, like...
You gotta adjust.
Yeah.
You gotta adjust. That's what I learned, is you gotta just adjust and, like, do what you can do. As long as you're skating, you know?
Yeah.
That's, like, the most important part, yeah. But video part-wise, you know? Because, like, dude, there's dudes that kill it. So, it's just, like, hard, because that's a danger zone. Because, dude, you get older, and it's like you're like, pushing yourself, and then dudes have bad injuries, you know? You seen that? Like, fucking where you're like, oh, I jeopardized. You can't even skate, like, ever, you know?
Right.
There's a fine line, especially when you don't have control issues. Like, you start skating, you're like... It's funny.
Yeah, it's hard to stay off your board on an injury. It's the hardest.
So hard, dude.
Yeah.
But it's important, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
I try. And then like you don't even know when you're done being injured sometimes. You know what I mean?
Really, you think you're like all right, and then just next
Yeah,
thing
you
know,
just start
it's like,
skating.
Yeah, you're raised
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? Thought I was healed. Sometimes, just like in general, you know. And then if you're working another job too, and you have like some lifting like job where you gotta carry shit,
Oh yeah, you're fucked.
you're fucking sore and beat up
Fuck.
from that, and then you're trying to skate, you know. I don't think it's a bad thing for people to be able to like create value with something that's like a skateboard that's trivial and make a living from doing that. Because I think the skateboard itself is trivial. It's not like simple. It's basic, you know. But like what people put into the skating and the style and the energy and like the hours and all that is like
That's
where
what
it
makes
is.
Special,
Yeah, that's what makes it like it. Skateboarding holds the complexity of everybody. It absorbs it, you know. So like that's amazing to me, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like people can make a living doing that. I always believe that because I tried to be sponsored so I didn't have to give up skating as much. Like there was a degree I knew I was like if I can't like if I get a normal job and I've always wanted to work hard ever since I was little. I've never wanted to be a burden just because like my mom, she was kind of a burden at times, you know, and like I saw what happened with that, you know. So like I've never wanted to be a burden on it. I've always wanted to help and work hard and be like aim at something and like but like so yeah, I wanted to get sponsored for that sake so that I didn't have to go necessarily do that 9 to 5 all the time. And I can actually
like
indulge in skating and see where we could take this. The tricks you could learn and the levels you could do or the trips or the tours or the things that like we could create together and like or by ourselves, you know, like and those things you want to do all the time, you know, your whole waking time. Sometimes it's bad because I got that. I got like sponsored and got to do that for years and years and years, and it was awesome. But I was injured way more than I should have been, just because I was indulging all the time in skating. You know, it was my job to. So it's just like I don't regret any of it.
It's hard to not get carried away.
Yeah. But like there was more to me than just that too, because I was like, all right, well, like I could do this for my whole life, but it's like I was still like, there's more to this, you know, like keep following this thread, keep pulling, you know. And then it led to like where I was starting my own company and then sponsor other people and still keep skating, but try to show them and do the tours and the trips and try to bridge the gaps with shops and all that stuff, you know.
And it's still something like
full circle.
I mean, it's like skateboarding too. Yeah, exactly. Like.
And I learned that from watching the dudes that were my homies that worked for those companies and like, you know what I mean? Like, that's where I got my education was watching my friends do it and like. They gave a shit about us and what we were doing in those trips and those tours, like riding for World and even Zoo, like people that there's photographers, filmers, skateboarders, all the spectrum, flow, amateur, pro, veteran, like Donnie on those trips were just veteran, like OG, you know, like crazy. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know shit about the world, but like it's crazy, dude. But I think it would be sick if people could like find things they love and like things that are worth working at that can sustain them throughout life, you know, and they can like build up their character and then somehow make a living off of like living lives that are fulfilling and that they're working at things they give a shit about. That doesn't seem like, I guess it you can't have that if you're aiming at like, but see that's the whole thing, the whole cars and stuff, you know, like they're fighting over oil so we can get around. It's crazy because we're constantly pursuing new shit, no matter what. As a creature, we're always building the next new thing, Like culture just moves forward and forward and forward and forward. And it's like insane. It's like we're building something we don't know what we are building. You know?
Yeah, it's almost like we get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, at times.
Like the cell phones are killing the bees and stuff. Like,
yeah. They're like trying to call someone. My phone's dying and I am too.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, cell phones are so bad.
Yeah, there's gonna be good and bad with everything. There's no like savior. It's just like you move forward in inches and try to like make less mistakes, even as a culture. You know, try to. We can at least correct the things we know are wrong. How slow are we at that? You know what I mean? Like marijuana. How long does it take? You know what I mean? Like.
But it's true. I feel like, you know, definitely like if we make an individual would make the same mistakes over and over. Like a lot of this almost get thrown into a cycle of it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, like first it's like you get self-aware, so you're aware that you have power and influence, and then you're like, okay, well, like I could use this for good or bad, and then you're just like, you figure out who you are and know what you're capable of, and then you build up restraint so you can harness that power of the best things of you, and then you aim those at things you love and give a shit about, you know? And if we can do that, but the thing is, like, for some people, they're starting at negative, and they're born into, like me, I was born into a crazy world. My emotions went astray real quick, and I didn't agree with everything, because there's obvious atrocities that happen, like all the people in jail and shit, and like, just the wars and shit, like, just none of this makes sense to me, you know? Like, this is insane, like, it's all politics or whatever, you know? But dude, if we all gotta eat, including myself, I have to remind myself all the time, it's like, try to be the best version I can be and take on like responsibility and work that matters, you know what I mean? Because like it's not free and we all have to put something into it, you know what I mean? It's just like you know what I mean? Because if I could there's people like that lounge about and never do anything, and they become such a fucking burden, and like they're unaware of it, they're not even aware of it. My mom was one of those people, and I loved my mom. I'm not trying to talk bad, but like through her I learned a lot of mistakes. She had issues and like things that happened to her at a young age that she couldn't get over, and then like the system like took her away and helped her make more mistakes and get dug deeper into problems and issues, like arresting someone over something trivial, you know, when they already had a mistake and they're just trying to get up from a knockout and getting hit again, basically, you know what I mean? Like, so like she just fucking, she had a hard time, you know? So like I learned, I'm like, oh, some of it's her fault, but some of it's not. And it's like it's just fucking buried. It's years of like neglect and abuse on a lot of people's parts, you know? It's like people make profit off of that, which is insane to me, you know? Like, but the better you understand yourself, which is awesome, because we have to be able to help people first. If they can't, because to be self-aware is you can't be worried about your life. It's hard to be really aware of your actions. Like maybe I said that wrong. It's like if you're always stressed out and worried about everything and you don't have any time to just think and live and be, you're not going to be able to build up habits that are going to be able to sustain you, you know what I mean? Like I used to have really bad patterns that were built up from trauma and just like not knowing how to handle a situation, and then if you get like a drug involved, like my mom had a lot of drugs, so she wouldn't correct her habits, you know, and then she'd end up just like being self-destructive, like because your habits become you know, like she got consumed by that, and there's this like fucking brutal, you know. And that was like what I had her as an example. I was like, dude, you need to like let go of all your fears. Like it's so hard because she was worried about the future because she was a mess and she knew it, and then she was a mess because of her past, because everything she did, all the mistakes, and how it just like got deeper and deeper, you know. It's like some people get arrested, they make one mistake and they get arrested and they're in jail for fucking ever, you know. Like some of the shit that you hear about, like there's whole generations of people locked up for weed, which is like barbaric and crazy.
That's
insane. Yeah,
it's just like it's such a hustle. All of
yeah,
it.
it's for profit. It's like the neighbor's dog, go in him. Yeah, it's insane, dude. And someone's making a living off of that. You know, like good living. Yeah.
You know how many lawyers I got in the mail at my parents' house? Like DUI.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like probably like 25 like in the past 2 days. Like
yeah, you're like, god damn it.
I didn't even get one from like court to tell me when to show up. I just got all these lawyers trying to sell me their.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Hey, go lay down. I'm gonna stop this stuff. Hey, go lay down. Get. He's not having it.
Not having it.
Oh. Yeah, dude. It's unbelievable to me. It's really unbelievable. You know what I mean? People are just trying to figure it out. You shouldn't be able to make money off of screwing people, basically. You know what I mean? But that starts with an individual. That's all I was getting at with all of this, is like, the more, especially nowadays, it's like we can see each other and connect and like see each other we can find the same people that value the things we care about, and like we can be more flexible because we can see other people that might not live the same life, and you can understand them better because you can see them live their normal life, or hear them talk, or like we have ways to connect. And like if we each get our own frequency, like going at whatever works for us, where it's healthy, happy, like, and aiming at things, you know, like we could be good, you know. But it's like easier said than done, you know. You get called crazy for the shit. Like, I'm crazy. Shut up. The hippie podcast with Anthony and Dickey. That's what happens when you drink wine and smoke weed and then podcast. You get into that stuff.
Definitely. I'm like a firm believer in like minds attract like minds. So just like it's hard to train your brain to think positively and just be in a good good vibration. But like you just like really like have like think good thoughts into everything. Like the world's like so much kinder to you.
Yeah. That makes sense, because if we're just out in space, right?
Yeah.
If we're out in space and time, and we're just like some sort of energy that's moving, and you aim at something, you can aim at shit, and you can like direct it, and you can end up skating. You know what I mean? Like you can control it and kind of do all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Or you could just get carried away and like your thoughts become your reality in some sense. You know what I mean? Like because you got everyone's imagination, right? Has created everything supposedly. I imagine, right? And what we could imagine. You know what I mean? Like those are your thoughts, right? I always like Disney. You like the drawing and stuff, the animation, like the cells, and like just seeing it is like always blew my mind. Top 3 favorite movies. I probably asked you this before, but and you probably haven't watched. Have you been watching TV at all, or movies, or like?
A little bit here and there.
You got a favorite movie?
Donnie Darko is probably one of my
Ooh,
favorites.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Nice. That one's creepy.
Yeah, it's a wild one, but it kind of like correlates with some shit like always like kind of believed in, you know.
I have to watch it again. It's been a while, but I remember like just the music was sick and it was like eerie and like there's something to it. I have to watch it again. It's been a while. I'll go back for sure. Choo choo. What would you say your favorite skater was? Did you have one? Did I ask you that before?
Shit.
It's a tough question, but it's like, here, give us more than one. Give us like 3 favorite skaters. We gotta say Bam is in there,
Yeah,
right?
definitely Bam. Like when I first started skating, like Bam was like fucking shit. Like I watched the show and everything.
You don't end up at his house unless you're a fan of Bam, right?
Oh, yeah, well, the show.
Maybe.
I didn't even think I was gonna run into him. Like
Yeah.
that. I mean.
It was just by random chance.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's real cool. Way cool. And definitely, I like to get David Gravett skating a lot.
Yes, so good.
So good. I was
gnarly.
I
Handrails, dude.
loved rails back in the day. I still do, but I'm, it's like pick and choose your battles wisely.
Yeah.
I tend to get a little more broke off on skating a rail, but.
But if it looks right, you're like, oh, I kind of got to. Can't help it.
Absolutely.
That's how I get sometimes. It's like, you have to pick them, because some of them you're like, this rail's dangerous. I just know that. Like, I'm going to have to pass. It's a good rail, but it's dangerous.
And like, you're definitely like a firm believer in like practicing a trick like before you do the trick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not just going to want to like, won't go on a like backlift slide a fucking handrail if I haven't done like a backslide slide down a rail.
Yeah, like learn it first, warm up. I'll go to like a park and find a good rail, get it down sharp.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's practical advice for the young people out there.
Yeah. Definitely works for sure.
Yeah, sometimes you can send it, but it doesn't always work.
Well, yeah.
It broke off. You gotta like prepare, especially if it's one you're working at. It's like a gnarly
For
one.
real.
Yeah.
Like if it's not your go-to, like fucking practice it first.
Yeah.
You get smoked.
I did that all the time.
Yeah.
I would just like find a spot. And I'm like, I think I can do this trick on this spot, but I'm gonna have to like practice this and go faster and like figure it out. And like I do that and then go to the spot and try.
Well, you know what's sick is like sometimes like having that spontaneous like trick where you've never done it before and like just did it in the spot.
Yeah, the gift. They give you it's a gift. Or like,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah.
How'd that work out? Dude, I have one in my new cart. It's like I had to like ollie up, and then at the top there's like this brick, and I ollied up the one, and then finger flipped it back down into the bank fakie. Such a weird one. I laugh at it every time I see it. I'm like, it's not even like I just did it. It was this spot, and I like wanted to get a trick that day, and I would never do that trick. But it's just like random. You're like, damn, works out sometimes like that. Sick, man. Yeah. Anything else? Do we have Instagram and social media and stuff? We have the Instagram, right?
Yeah, the Instagram. I think that's like only the really thing I'm on yet right now, but I'm looking bad with it.
Yeah, but you'll have to get better at it, because if you like wanted to be a pro skateboarder, you'd
Yeah.
have to be able to like
More up to
connect
date.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
people would have to know you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because otherwise they wouldn't see you unless like it was in person, I guess.
True that.
Then
yeah.
you'd have to run an event. Then that would be you'd have to be there.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, definitely. I got a lot of posting, catching up to do on Instagram posts. So stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
If people just want to check in, that's what it's for. It's just going like, oh, there's Dickey. Dicky's still doing it. What?
It's definitely it's like a little bit hard to keep up with, but I like to live in the now.
Kids in the now, bro. Can't figure out how to do this. Oh, now it's aiming at me. Turn it off. It wants me to rotate the vice. This is unbelievable right now. We're stuck in. That's weird. Here, let me just resolve this real quick. Oh, Simon Wood. For some reason, it's like, there we go.